thank you for joining us again. I'm Robbie, and this is
Chuck.
And today we have with us a very special guest. We have with us
Brad Bennett.
Brad Bennett is a local business owner. He has a business in Lumberton, Texas, and he joined us here at Pursuit of Purpose to talk to us about himself and about his origins and about where he's going. So, Brad, if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 37. I have I got 3 kids, beautiful wife, beautiful kids. They're 6, 3, and 5 months old. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm always looking into what I can get into next. And that's my life, family and business.
That's great. That's great. So let's rewind just a little bit further. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So, where were you born?
Corpus Christi, Texas.
Corpus Christi, Texas. So you're a Texas native.
Yes.
Just like myself. I'm a proud Texas native.
Yes.
So
I got here as quick as I could.
We'll forgive you and we'll
Thank
accept
you.
you. Texas wants you anyway.
Oh.
Are you a member of a sibling group? How many brothers, sisters? Are you an only child? Tell us a little bit about your childhood.
No, I have one younger sister. I'm 37, and she is, how old is she? Ooh, she's going to get me for this one, 32. So she's 32. She lives in Oklahoma, has 1 kid, married. She's actually a school counselor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very good. So in your childhood, did you move a lot as you were growing up? Where did you grow up?
Grew up in Lumberton, Texas. Moved from Corpus Christi when I was 4 or 5 years old. And so 1990, 1991, we moved up to Lumberton. And that's where I've been my entire life. Same house, same spot, same 3 acres I grew up on. That's where I've been.
That's great, man. You got stability in your background. That says a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a nosy question. Would you, looking back at your childhood, do you say you came from a home of means, a well-off financially background, like y'all had plenty of money when you were growing up? You had everything you wanted, and
we had everything we needed. I mean, the basic necessities. We weren't overly wealthy. I mean, I was provided for. My parents did a great job of providing for me. And could we go out and buy, take multiple vacations every year? No, we couldn't. But they gave us everything they needed. I needed food, shelter, a vacation a year. They were there for me. So I was wealthy in that sense of having parents around.
That is an amazing description of wealth. I love that. I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'm going to throw it over to Chuck and let him torture you a little bit.
All right.
So if you don't mind, to be kind of nosy about your childhood home life, what was discipline like and structure in the home?
My dad was pretty tough. I was to do what I was told, and when I was told. If not, I got whipping for it. That's
good old corporal punishment.
Yeah.
Well, you're not alone, brother. I was right there with you.
Yeah. That's looking back on it, I go, I get it now. I understand. So
it makes way more sense now looking back as an adult.
Yeah. At the time, I'm like, this is ridiculous.
So would you say that discipline structure in the home attributed to who you've become and how you've become?
Definitely. Because I've seen others out there that were punished or not punished, and they have a little bit different life than I do. So I think everything matters.
So you're grateful for it?
Very grateful.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
So, well, thank you for the discipline reference, and I'm sure years from now when your daughters listen to this, it'll all make sense. It came from their grandma.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. We'll just blame it on him. No, but I appreciate your both your parents, but definitely your dad for that. That's good stuff. So I love, and we're going to learn more about a lot of the ventures and adventures that you've been on as a businessman. But speak a little bit, if you will, to your inspiration. What inspired you to start pursuing these many options that we're going to learn about today?
I don't know if I've really had any. I mean, there's got to be some inspiration, but like I told my wife, I'm just wired differently. I'm just Dad and I started a business back in 2008 when we opened the doors to the gun range. And I think that really motivated me and encouraged me to go, I love entrepreneurship. I love owning your own business. And that's probably where the inspiration really started. But I was always into owning my own business throughout high school. That's what I always wanted. But yeah, I would say the gun range is what really took me to the next level.
Sure. Did you work during those years, the high school years?
I did. One of my first jobs was at Skate and Stuff, the old skating rink in Lumberton.
Yeah.
I want to say during my sophomore, as soon as I got a vehicle, Dad was like, well, you need to work, you need to buy your own gas. And so Skate and Stuff, I was there. I'd actually have to put on the rollerblades and put on a costume they had a little kangaroo, I think. I have to skate around in the kangaroo outfit and the chicken dance and all that. From there, I went to Walmart, the old Walmart.
Yes.
I was one of the last people to work at the old Walmart.
That was my first job, was at that Walmart.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Yep. I got signed on as cart crew. Had to go get all the carts out of the parking lot and bring them inside.
Yes.
So, for a whole, I think, $6.25 an hour.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
which was bank for a teenager.
Yeah. I was happy with that.
Yeah. So I'm doing the math a little bit. So was your dad, did he have businesses or did he work and then eventually he went into business and you went with him?
Well, my dad, he always had, he's a born mechanic, fabricator, you name it, he can build it. And so growing up, he had a shop we had 3 acres, or we still have 3 acres, but he had a shop and that's where he had some contracts with the city and Lumberton Mud and get a lot of their vehicles and build them custom things that they needed. And so he's super talented in building and mechanic. He can do anything. So I guess growing up, watching him do that and working from home and not having to go to your 9-to-5 job is probably a little bit of my inspiration there too.
So it sounds like your dad instilled in you discipline and a desire to be independent.
Mm-hmm. Work for yourself.
That's really good. Good job, Dad. Good job, Dad. So how long have you been married?
Ooh.
Yeah. We touched
Let's edit this one out. Let's edit this out.
I've learned. I'm gonna help you out.
Okay.
I'm gonna help.
What year did you get married?
There you go.
2014.
See, there you go.
Nice.
So
Right.
you've been married since 2014. That's the way.
28.
We're training you here at
2014.
Pursuit of Purpose because we want part of our purpose to be to protect your life.
Yes.
And you're going to go home after this interview, and we want you to
So anytime I'm
survive.
asked how long I've been married, just say since 2014.
There you go.
Bam! Just like that.
Right.
Just like that.
That's right. We do it with business folks. Well, how long have you been doing this? You go since,
and we can even improve on that. Say, I have been in love with my wife since before our marriage in 2014.
Oh, this goes so deep.
See, we can step it up a notch, baby.
Yes. So this is shameless plug for our men's conferences. They're coming.
Yes.
Dude, you'd probably sell out if you had a little men's course like that.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Every seat sold.
Every
So-
seat sold.
You talked about the gun range, and that first business adventure that you went into with your dad was kind of the fundamental start of your mind working as an entrepreneur, right? So then that grew into other entrepreneurial pursuits after, what happened with the gun range?
Gun range started in 2008. I think my dad and I had the idea to build the gun range back in 2002.
Okay.
He found the location, purchased it, and then it wasn't overnight. That's what a lot of people
Of course.
think everything happens instantly, but that was a long project. We bought the property around 2002, and it was 2008, January of 2008, before we finally opened the doors. And we did a lot of it out of our pocket, on my dad's pocket. I did contribute a little bit here and there, sweat labor, sweat equity.
Absolutely.
But another, and I still the gun range is right next to my furniture store.
Okay.
And so every day I walk out to get the mail, I look at the culvert next door, which I sold my Yamaha Warrior four-wheeler to pay for that culvert. So, you know, a lot of people, they don't want to sacrifice. They want everything. And I was willing to sacrifice, and that's actually sort of how my furniture store started too. So that culvert actually means a lot to me.
So for everybody out there listening, from what I'm hearing, and I'm going to do a little interpretation for everybody to appreciate what you just said, that four-wheeler that you had in your young years represented a part of you. It was an expression of who you were at the time, right?
Loved going out, riding, and
and that was one of the joys of your life.
Yeah.
But you saw a greater purpose. And through that pursuit, you were willing to give up this great joy that you had in the pursuit of a future goal.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And as young as you were willing to give up that and make that sacrifice. And every day when you walk to your mailbox, you have a reminder when you see that culvert that you sold you traded your four-wheeler for to show you that you are willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes
for your future.
I'm
awesome.
Still willing to do whatever it takes. And
so bring us through the timeline of
my dad and I actually installed the culvert. We had
That's
a concrete
great.
truck brought in. He brought his tractor out there, and we leveled it and did everything we were.
And those memories are priceless. That work you did with your dad.
Yeah, and we got a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in the gun range. So quite an experience actually building something from the ground up.
Yes.
You know, even now we had a majority of the cinder block laid, but the cinder block walls inside the gun range, which separates the shooters, my dad and I laid a lot of those cinder blocks. You know, we did a lot of the electrical wiring, hanging of the deflectors, building out and framing the walls, the bathrooms. I mean, we did a lot of the work ourselves to save money and get it going.
So for those of you listening and possibly viewing this episode, Brad and his dad, they built an actual indoor firing range for firearms. And they built it in such a way that it was safe and functional. So that's what he's talking about when he's talking about laying the cinder blocks inside and the firing lanes and all that sort of thing. If you would bring us through the timeline of, okay, so you've built the store, you've got it functional, you opened the doors in 2008, and what happened through the course of doing business? What was you went through a process, and y'all don't have the gun store anymore, the gun range. So let's go to the next. What happened? Where did we go from there? Y'all got it open, and it became successful. And then what?
We kept at it. So we didn't have a lot of money for inventory. And what we actually did is my dad pulled all his guns from his gun safe, and we put those in the cabinets. And that's how we started with the inventory. And people come in, and as we made money, we replaced those guns and add to. Social media, Facebook was sort of new to myself around that same time. We started a Facebook page. We didn't have a lot of money for advertising, so word of mouth was huge. And providing, just excellent customer service. So that way, whoever comes in, we go tell the next person, and that's how we grew it. I mean, really word of mouth and a little bit of social media that we didn't pay for because we didn't have the money to promote it and sponsor it. So
I don't think you could get more organic than for your dad to go in his own gun safe and say, "I'm willing to sell." Again, his
collection,
which is like your four-wheeler.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's willing to sell that to say, I'm willing to start flipping this because my ambition of making this a success is worth just a little bit more than the emotional attachment I have to this gun I've had for quite some time.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, now we're knowing where your spirit comes from. That's awesome.
So then you guys ran that store for, if I'm not mistaken on my timeline, about 9 years, and then something happened. So tell us about the progress. Y'all had the gun store, it was in operation, everything was moving along, and then this happened.
Yes, Hurricane Harvey. Hurricane Harvey comes along. And at that time, we had nearly 300 to 400 firearms inside. So we started with 20 to 30 and grew to 300 to 400 firearms inside there. Harvey comes along, and just my dad, my uncle, my mom, people that we didn't even know were up there helping us grab guns off the wall, throw them in the vehicles to get them out. And we're doing this as water is steadily coming in.
Watching it rise.
I mean, it's just coming in fast. And we get everything out, and we had probably another 100 guns that, luckily, above the office, there's a big spot, and we stuck a lot of firearms up there that's probably 10 foot. But we ended up having 7.5 foot of water in the building for, it was 7 or 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that really hurt us. We had every type of insurance out there at the time. Mm-hmm. We had terrorist insurance, we had wind insurance, everything you could imagine, but flood insurance.
Oh man!
And it really hurt us. You know, mm-hmm. It really took a step back for us. So.
But it didn't stop you.
No.
So y'all recovered after Harvey, mm-hmm. not just as a gun store, but as a family. Mm-hmm. And a community. Mm-hmm. If you wouldn't mind, speak to that, because that tragedy did more than just hurt. It actually, it created an opportunity for you guys to venture out into other things. And I've seen that from the outside looking in, and I don't know if you have ever, spoken to that, but it did. Can you talk about the after Harvey effects? Just looking back at your memories.
After Harvey, it probably took a good solid year to rebuild. We were closed down for probably a good solid year. I mean, luckily there's a lot of good people out there that came in. They helped haul cabinets out. I mean, it was a mess. It was a nasty mess.
Yes.
And but there's a lot of good people out there, a lot of friends that we met that just came in and would help. They helped tear down walls. They helped. We had electrical friends that came in, rewired everything. So that gave us some inspiration of, hey, there's people out there willing to help.
Absolutely.
And so we continue moving forward, and that's all you really can do.
Right.
Well, you got options. You could have quit. A lot of people faced with those same challenges decide to opt out rather than move forward.
Right.
And I'm really proud to know that you guys didn't do that. So then, if I'm not mistaken, a few years after Harvey, there was another transition. Okay? I believe you guys sold the gun store. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
And that opened up opportunities for you personally to then begin your own, as you say, serial entrepreneurship. So how did that begin? What was your first adventure in your own business world?
Well, between selling the gun range and starting the furniture store, I actually went to work for a local company. I was there for about 1.5 years, and I actually got fired because I was too busy working on my other stuff I wanted to do, and they realized that. And I didn't deny it. I said, I am working on this other stuff. I'm starting a mattress store, and they said, okay, I think it's time that we part ways.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? That's good, because I need to focus 110% on building my next business.
Right.
And that's what happened. I mean, went to work for someone for a little while, got fired, and started my a mattress store in Beaumont. And
I'm going to comment on that, if you don't mind. What you learned and what you're saying right now, if I'm not mistaken, is that when they fired you, they weren't taking anything away from you. They were actually giving you the opportunity you needed.
Right. Had they not fired me, there's a good chance I might still be there.
Trying to divide your time, which is not successful for anyone.
No, it's really not. I mean, have that savings in the bank account, and then make that jump forward. I started telling myself, the time is now. It's not tomorrow. It's not the next day. The time is now to start making that move. Whether it's, Brad, I got QuickBooks, I got to get on the computer and go through and put everything in the right categories. I'll say, I'll do it tomorrow. I want to sit here and watch Facebook or YouTube. But then I say, no, the time is now.
Right.
The time is now to get it done. It's not the next day. It's now. And that's, I hear that from so many people. They'll say, I'm going to do that tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Well, tomorrow may not come, or you may, something may happen.
Right.
But the time is now. So.
One of our favorite phrases or words and phrases we like to use is owners or ownership. And because that's what owners do. Mm-hmm. Owners don't wait for it to come to them. They go after it. And it's a mind train, which is what we try to do through Pursuit of Purpose in a lot of our team trainings or individual coaching and counseling, is to help train people to see it when it's happening. Mm-hmm. And evidently, though you had a lot of setbacks, that basics of that vision wasn't gone. So even though you were working, which shows your character, like I'm not going to just sit here, I want to do something. But once that door started to close, you could feel it closing. You knew the other one was opening. That's kind of the story I heard there.
Yeah.
And then you went with it. So I'm not going to sit here and scroll. We're going to get busy.
We're going to make stuff happen.
We're going to make stuff happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you are. And so once you allowed that whole transition to take place, what took place after that? What came shortly after you began investing in the ideal places?
I have a really horrible memory, guys, and are making me go back years. I barely remember yesterday.
Okay.
I think you've got a better memory than you give yourself credit for.
I guess so.
Because I'm paying attention and you're pulling up a lot of things. You're doing fine.
Yes.
You're doing just
so
fine.
you have the
So what was the
businesses.
question?
Well, you have these businesses that are just, they're in their infancy. They're right in front of you. You're working two things at the same time. And your former employer, not even knowing what is causing them to do this, is giving you an opportunity. They're closing the door,
Right.
which that energy is going to go somewhere. It's going to find the portal.
Right.
And so it starts heading toward these businesses that are in their early stages. And then what happened after that? And you started pouring energy into it. And tell us a little bit about that growth.
Well, so we started a mattress store in Beaumont, and that took off. Once again, thank you all to everyone out there that has always supported me locally and in the community. A lot of friends and family. My goodness, my parents came in and wanted to buy a mattress for their guest room, and they wanted me to charge them full price. I'm like, I can't charge my own mom and dad full price, but they've always been there for me, and they're willing to do whatever it takes. Same thing with people in the community, like Robert. He's always been there, and he's willing to come in, and from guns to the chairs we're sitting in, he's always been there. He said, Brad, I want to buy from you.
Yeah.
So I thank the community and a lot of friends for always being there to support me.
That's awesome.
But the mattress store, so it took off, did really well, and then COVID happened. And unfortunately at the time, we had actually signed 3 lease agreements in Houston. One a block from the Galleria, the second one from in the Woodlands, and the third one was in Bunker Hill. So that we had 3 super locations, highly trafficked, great areas, and then COVID happens, Houston shuts down. The landlords were not willing to work with us at all. And I said, Mr. Landlords, look at our numbers at our Beaumont store. If you give us time and work with me, I'll pay you anything. We can come to some type of agreement.
Right.
And the Houston people are brutal. And at the end of the day, I understand it's a business, but we're on a pandemic worldwide, and they were not willing to help us. And when 3 locations are total of $50,000 a month for rent, that's not employees, that's not utilities,
It's just pure overhead.
Pure overhead. That didn't last but 4 or 5 months, and then I said, I'm out. If you aren't willing to work with me, there's
nothing
I can do. I mean, I don't have any traffic. Everyone's told to stay at home.
Right.
They're not coming in to lay on a mattress because they're afraid they're going to get COVID.
Right.
So another little setback, but great learning experience.
Absolutely.
Costly learning experience.
Right.
But
The most profound ones usually are.
yeah. So
a setback is a setup for a comeback. So you
It
came
really
back.
is.
Yeah.
yeah.
So tell us about the comeback.
And so one day I'm sitting in the mattress store, and the Ashley furniture rep comes in and says, because we have some of their Ashley makes a really good mattress brand, really good lineup. And I would have never.
Shameless plug.
Not even forget. Yeah. So they really do. He says, "Well, Brad, you can sell our furniture too." And I said, "I did not know that. Thank you for telling me that."
Right.
And then it clicked. my dad has a little 1,600 square foot warehouse right next door to the gun range. I'm going to work something out with him. So that's what I did. Called him up, said, Dad, I can get Ashley furniture. I'm going to sell it stupid prices because I don't have any overhead, and I'll split the profit with you. He thought about it. Said, okay, whatever you want to do. So now my dad's up there. He's ordering rock, and he's got his tractor up there and clearing brush around the building and putting a little parking lot in for me. And a couple weeks later, my first 18-wheeler of Ashley Furniture shows up, and who's there? Mom and Dad. You know, Mom's checking off the inventory as it's coming off the 18-wheeler. Dad's over there, you know, manhandling full-on sofas. And I had my office. I think you've been in my office.
Oh, yeah.
I had 9 dressers stuck in my office every which way. I had sofas standing up on the side.
Right.
I had stuff everywhere, hanging on the walls, wherever I could find it. 1,600 square feet. And
You were playing 3-dimensional Tetris.
yes. Yeah. With furniture. So some of that furniture is not real light.
No.
So from there, you know, my dad would come up and he'd do stuff outside, and he'd see customers coming in and out. He said, well, you're actually selling some furniture. I said, well, yeah, Dad, that's what I'm here to do. And he said, okay, well, do you need another building? I said, I need as many buildings as you can build.
Right.
So we started out with the 1,600 square foot metal building. There was a little breezeway behind it, and then we connected a 2,000 square foot building to that breezeway, and that was my next little store. So we went from 1,600 square foot to 3,600 square feet, and then I was growing, and Dad was getting his little cut, and he goes, okay, you need more? I said, I need more. I need 40,000 square foot of buildings. And I don't have 40,000 square foot. I have a little over 15,000 square foot now. But that's what happened. I mean, you know, sit there and hustled and sold furniture and made it happen. And we just slowly grew over, that was January of 2020, which was a crazy year again. To open the furniture store,
Absolutely.
January 2020.
Yes.
It was actually sort of a blessing in disguise for COVID, for the pandemic, because all these people are sitting at home. They're wanting to redo their furniture. They're wanting new furniture, and all these other furniture stores, they sell out of their warehouse. They don't sell off the floor. And so people would come in and they would say, you know, I was just at the furniture store down the road. It's going to take 10 to 16 weeks for me to get furniture.
Right.
Do you have anything now? I said, I got that right there. I got that right there. If it's on the floor and doesn't have a sold ticket, you take it today. And so
Y'all were loading trucks.
So we were loading trucks.
I love it.
I mean, that's so as crazy as 2020 was. It was, you know, it was sort of my way to get going. You know, it really helped propel me and get the word out, and word of mouth once spread. Hey, Brad's got furniture, and you can take it home the same day. So.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That really is. That's the whole story is poetic and beautiful. Go ahead, Chuck.
No, I'm agreeing with you. So, what we're hearing is a success story, and one of the things I'll start with this question: do you consider yourself successful?
I consider myself blessed.
Blessed. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So define blessed. Put broader language on that.
Beautiful family, successful business. God has blessed me in a lot of ways. So I like the word blessed. I would say I would be successful if it really comes down to it. But blessed.
So if you're talking to, say, someone back to those early 20s, your dad going into business, and maybe it's a young person and they're doing some hustle out of their house, but you can see the fire, and they may look to you and say, you know, I want to be where you are, or something like that. They're looking at the conclusion. They're not looking at the process. If you will, put some words on the process, on that program that you're listening or wanting them to put in their mind to say, well, if you want to get to somewhere, this is the way you need to approach every day. Not
everyone's wired for it. I'm super driven, and once I have something in my mind, I'm going to do it. And back up a little bit. How I bought my first 18-wheeler load of furniture. I actually went in 50-50 on another little venture. It actually worked out really well, and good and bad. I went in with a buddy on a Corvette, and we were going to start renting out Corvettes. So we went out, and at the time, I think that was back in 2017, 2018, we went out and bought a 2015 C7 Corvette. And I said, you know what, I really don't want to, promote this business a lot. I just want rent it a couple times on the weekend, have somebody else pay for the note. Get that passive income where I still got my toy and someone else is paying the note. And it did. I rented it out a couple times a weekend, and then Hurricane Imelda comes along. The Corvette's parked at my buddy's house off of Dallin, and the water comes up, gets in the floorboard of the Corvette, and insurance ends up totaling it. And so they come out, they total it. I said, well, can I buy it back? And he said, yeah, we'll let you know a price next couple days. A couple days comes around, I get an email, and if y'all can guess how much I bought the car back for.
No, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
I'll let y'all take it out for a weekend. Y'all take a guess.
Oh man, I often hate these contests. I'm gonna say less than 5,000.
Okay.
I'm not gonna guess because I have no idea.
$850.
Wow!
Of course.
I said, done. The wheel alone is worth $850.
Yes.
I'll send you a check.
You
tomorrow.
can pluck parts off of that and make that money back. People are always buying. Look at that.
The way the insurance looked at it is it had been sitting in the water for several days. That car is full of electronics. They wanted no part to do with it. And so I knew that there was an inch of water in the floorboard, never even hit the bottom of the seats, and took it to the steam cleaners, had them steam clean the carpets, clean the inside, and the only thing wrong with it is their little sensor on the parking brake is out, but I have an $850 Corvette.
And who uses a parking brake?
Yeah.
Especially on a Corvette.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so my partner in it, I ended up buying him out of it for $13,000. Or, no, wait. Step back. I wanted the money for the furniture. So I said, Ty, will you buy me out of a Corvette? And he said, yeah, here's $13,000. I said, okay. So that's what I bought the first truckload of furniture with, $13,000. Once again,
You reapplied an early lesson in life.
Yeah.
The four-wheeler.
Yep.
Right.
Same
Sacrifice.
sacrifice.
Yep. And then guess what happened about a year ago? I called Ty up and said I want my Corvette back.
Of course you did.
Yep.
Yes.
So now I got my Corvette
And the furniture.
and the furniture.
So you have come full circle. You got your
Yes.
toy back.
Yes.
You got your business going.
Mm-hmm.
Got it all.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That is awesome. So, do you have any fears?
No. No, not really. I mean,
Good.
Yeah. No. No.
That's good.
No.
Do you have a and I guess being the counselor on the panel, do you have a little process in your mind that helps you go through any potential fearful? I mean, like you got three littles, okay. So of course there's a level of concern for their weight.
With the little ones, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know we're talking business a lot, but
business. I really don't have any fears. I jump in and I go, and that's I think where most people sort of hesitate to get into something they really enjoy, or just starting a business. I don't hesitate when it comes to a business. I'll come home and tell my wife, "Hey, I bought this foreclosure house today." And she goes, "What? Yeah, I bought a house." And so I have zero fear. I think starting out I did.
Sure.
I always had a little hesitation. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? No ideal is ever perfect.
Right.
So you have to start somewhere to get somewhere.
Right.
And then you just sort of change and evolve as it comes along every day. Oh, you know what? That's maybe not the direction I should go.
Right.
I'm liking this. So no ideal is ever perfect. So just come up with the basic concept and go with it.
Right. There's two big fears that people have, and it's the fear of losing or the fear of missing out.
I've lost a lot.
Yes.
I've lost, and I've started other little side ventures, and
Yeah.
you know, I've learned from them. That's
Right.
You have to learn from your failures, or you know, that's the only way you're going to get better in life. You got
That's
to do
it.
it.
That's it. That's the philosophy. We hear that consistently on this show. Is I've learned from my failures. I learned from my failures, and but there's that burning cauldron of fire that says, "But I'm not going to quit."
Right.
And that's what I hear in you, which is cool.
Well, and I feel if I had all my business cards of every little business I've made up, I could probably put them edge to edge on this table and take up half the table of just every little business I wanted to do.
Yes.
And
That's part of the process, brother.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay. So I've got a question for you. This is a fun one. Who's your biggest competitor
biggest competitor in
in
furniture?
business? Yeah. Who's, well, I mean, it doesn't
Just you.
matter.
Who's
Just in
Brad's?
general, who is your biggest competitor?
I don't really see anyone as a competitor.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite answers. And believe it or not, Brad, that puts you in the category of the greatest successes. Because
I know I'm going to do it better than them at the end of the day, so I'm not worried about them.
And
So
if-
focus on me.
there
not
you
worry about
That's
go.
it.
There you go.
If
You
it's not
are
a
your greatest
person, then
competitor.
it's
Yeah,
it's
focus.
us.
Yeah, focus on you, not what everyone else is doing. I could care less what they're doing.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. And that's what makes you keep going forward.
Yep.
You're looking at yourself, not at the other guy.
Yep.
That's
That's where a lot of
awesome.
people go wrong. Oh, this business is doing that. And I hear people stalking the Facebook page. I don't do that. I don't have time to do that. You know.
Right.
My focus is on my business and my family at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So that's it.
That's amazing. And that's what keeps you relevant. That's what keeps you going and successful and keeps you involved in your community is that drive. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
That is the answer. That is what I always hope to hear
Yeah.
when I ask that question. And it's been the solid answer of everyone I've asked it.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
thank
great.
you.
It
Thank you.
is, and that's been an inspiration for us because there hasn't been one guest that we haven't brought on that basically said exactly what you said, and I think, like you said, that's what sets us apart. Because you said it's not for everybody,
Right.
Because some folks, I like to believe because we're all in influential industries, we can help people get there, but they got to want it.
Right.
And
You don't want it. You know, like my wife, she's a nurse practitioner, super smart. She likes the 9-to-5 job. You know, she doesn't want anything to do with the business. And that owning a business is not for everyone. And you know, she's one of those people that she wants to go to work, she wants to do her job, and then she wants to come home at the end of the day and not think about work.
Right.
Where I come home, I usually play with the kids, help out around the house, get the kids to bed, and then I'm on YouTube learning. I'm taking other people and just other business gurus, and I'm listening and learning.
Right.
And that's another big thing I would say is so many people out there do not know when to shut up. They think they know it all. And sometimes you got to sit back and listen. Just listen to other people's input. You may not like it, but you need to listen. And I think I'm not a big talker. So I've always just stepped back and I listen. I find people that have been mentors to me, and I just listen to them. I don't argue with them. I don't say, I may ask them, well, what do you think about this? But shut up and listen. You don't know everything.
So if you ask a question, you wait for the answer.
Yeah.
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 Yes, and obviously you have a good acquisition system because you take it in and then somehow or another mold it and then it comes out
and go with it.
And go with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What it looks like to me is that you're not looking for what to say, you're learning what to do constantly.
Always.
And it also, and just what you described about yourself, when you get home at the end of the day, you're constantly reinventing yourself. You're constantly pouring in knowledge and experience from other places and people, so that you can find the next incarnation of what you're going to do.
No, I really don't watch TV. If I do watch TV, it's Shark Tank.
It's business.
Yeah. I
It's learning. Yeah.
Everything.
Absolutely.
If you look at everything, you can take something from everything out there. You
That's
can
a great
apply it to
point.
your life.
Right.
So
I had a professor. I did go to Lamar, and it was a ethics and law class, and he was a local judge. I won't mention his name. I don't know if he's still with us. But we were all giggling about our appetite of information. He goes, "All right, true confession. Even after being in court all day, I go home and watch court TV." And we're like, "What?" And so
he has a passion for it.
He has a passion.
Yeah, that's great.
That's it. It. And so for you to go home and watch Shark Tank makes perfect sense.
Well, I'm going to ask you this, and this is a loaded question. It may be difficult to answer. Who knows? But do you have, or what is rather, your legacy? What do you see yourself creating that will live on past you?
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm gonna have to think about that one and get back.
That's okay.
I've never really thought about that.
Well, good. Then we provoke that
on now. Yeah.
And that's good too.
Yes.
There's no wrong answer to any of this stuff. It's just
really never
looking for your perspective.
About having a legacy.
One thing that may help that answer, whether it's in this particular interview or later in this interview or later on, is maybe getting a little bit of a elevated view and say, well, then who would I hope to benefit in that legacy? That may help that answer. And you mentioned your core motivations, which is family, and then I'm sure you've got obviously valued people who you work with or work for you and whatever, and then it starts spreading from there. You've lived in a community practically your whole life,
right.
And so those are your people,
right.
And so there's where the legacy kind of starts to take hold. If that helps your response.
I don't think it helps it right now, but I really need to. I don't think about that.
And then to put a little perspective on it, you are a living part of your dad's legacy. And if you look back on those memories you described earlier, throughout that entire process, he was investing into you because he saw you as his legacy.
Yeah.
So now you have an opportunity to take all that he invested into you.
Take what I've learned from him and apply it,
But you're doing it right now.
Right.
And then on top of that, you know how compound interest works. Well, you are producing interest on his investment into you, and then you're then going to be able to impart that into people and places and community to grow that legacy even further.
Right.
Through your own efforts.
Yeah.
So don't let the question overwhelm you, okay?
Yeah.
You're living it. You're doing it naturally. Okay?
Yeah, I've never really thought about that.
One of
Good,
the words
we
we
provoke
often
you.
use in here is the word honor, and typically it comes after there's been a loss, but it can be in the living years. Like how you work, and we've had other guests who work to say, I do this now that I think about it to honor those who gave me an opportunity, who came before me, and I love them and I respect them, and so it inspires me. So at some point in that near future, your children, their loved ones are going to say, I do this to honor my dad because,
Right.
And what would you like for them to say about you?
I'd like for them to say, at the end of the day, that my dad was a hard worker. He was there for his family. I tried to attend every game, I just want to be there for my family. I really want the girls and my boy to know that I'm there.
Yeah.
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 And at the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there working 9 to 5s that can't be there.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
99% of the time I can't be.
Right.
So
I do this for that, for sure. Right.
I'm good.
No, it's common.
Yes.
Well, I'm proud of you for that answer. That's powerful.
Yes.
And I agree with every part of it. I want the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. So, with that kind of still in mind, let's look ahead, say for 10 years from now. Okay. So now we're in your 40s. You're pushing the 50 mark, and you say, where would you like to see yourself in 10 years?
10 years. Ooh, I'd like to see myself. I enjoy business so much.
Yeah.
This is sort of it's my passion. Some people hunt, some people ride four-wheelers on the weekend. I have a passion for business, so Spending time. I mean, family is huge. So just spending time with my family. I mean, that's ultimately what I want to do in life. That's my other passion is family and business. And I really, occasional vacation, being able to spend time with my family, take them to Florida, take them to the Caribbean, wherever it may be, spending time with them.
Perfect.
So
yeah,
that's what I want to do.
Good.
Well, that's great. We're gonna switch gears a little bit back to your business, back where you are now.
Okay.
And are you hiring right now? Are you looking for employees in your business?
Always looking for good delivery guys, people that have a little bit of common sense to them, that's going to show up, going to do what they're told, and take some initiative to do stuff without being told to do it. So yes, I'm always looking to hire fast and fire faster.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it has to be that way. So you've mentioned what you're looking for in an employee. You're essentially looking for hard workers and people that think. They don't just do.
Right.
So how would someone find employment with your company?
Just come out of the store, grab an application, fill it out, and bring it back or fill it out there.
Okay.
And
what about a phone number? Is there a number to call, or should they just show up?
Call my personal cell phone, 409-658-1254. That's 409-658-1254.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for that. I know there's a lot of people out right now in the community that say they want a job. They say they want to work, and you're offering that opportunity.
Yep.
And just going to ask out of curiosity, if someone came into your company and wanted to work, and they showed initiative and drive and they did a good job, is there a little bit of upward possibility where they could go from?
For sure. Yeah.
Good.
There's without getting into too much detail.
Yeah, as much as you want.
I'm growing and looking at other spots right now. So yeah, there's definitely room for upward movement.
So there's opportunity. You could come in on the ground floor type level, and then you'd have a chance to possibly move up into different sorts of aspects of your business. Better pay, better conditions, and things like that.
Sure.
So if anyone out there is looking for work, it's a great guy to work for, and he'll help mentor you and help you become what you want to be. So what are you, how does someone become your customer?
Well, they need to come to my store, go to my website, hwyfurniture.com. That's hwyfurniture.com. They get online, check out our inventory, or check out the products we can get. We have over 600 pieces in stock on the floor, ready to go. Same day delivery, next day delivery. We can do it all. Just come talk to us.
Where's your store located?
4920 Highway 69 South. So, and that's in Lumberton. I tell everyone it's between Beaumont and Lumberton. We're actually closer to Beaumont. So you take Cooks Lake Road exit. If you're coming from Beaumont, take the exit, make the U-turn like you're going back to Beaumont. We're there on the right-hand side, right next to Lone Star Indoor Gun Range. If you're coming from Lumberton, just take Cooks Lake Road exit. Stay on the feeder road. We're down on the right-hand side. Look for a big sign up in there that says furniture and mattress.
As folks like to say, Cooks Lake Road coming or going.
Yep, coming or going.
Yes.
So we're there, right off the highway. Easy to find. You can email me, hwyfurniture@gmail.com. You can call me, stop by the store, but come check us out. We got those buildings look small from the highway, but once you come in and see, everyone is overly surprised the amount of product we have on the floor.
Right.
So.
Right. And folks need a place to sleep under. They need a place to land every night. And we're all about doing well for ourselves. That's kind of part of Pursuit of Purpose. So to have good pieces that you can keep, you can pass on, and those sorts of things. And it seems as though that you've put a lot of energy into making sure that we have a good product. This table will be functional indefinitely.
Yeah.
And so it seems as though that you put a lot of care into that.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah. As long as my children in furniture, 3-year-old and 6-year-old, running back and forth, jumping on furniture, standing. My 3-year-old was standing on the table this morning. And I'm just like, okay, my furniture isn't. It's not going to stand up to y'all jumping on my tables.
You know, I was talking to a gentleman not long ago about repeat business, and he goes, there are certain industries that don't have repeat, and then there's a certain that do. And one of the things I just heard in your story is furniture is seasonal. You got furniture for littles, you got furniture for teens, and then you have the furniture mom and dad are going to have that they're going to bring their littles to one day. So y'all might be in some of those early furniture stages, but we got furniture for the next season.
Yes.
At the highway. There you go.
We got it all.
We got it all.
Well, I've got a question for you that we ask every guest. Okay. And it's an interesting question. So, if you could go back in time, you're still a young guy. So, if you could go back in time to your younger self before you got into all these adventures and everything like that, and you could whisper in your own ear some profound advice, what would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself? Life is tough. It's weird, but it's enjoyable, and it's what you make of it. Stepping back a little bit, I didn't bring this part up earlier, but back in when was it? 2006. I was diagnosed with severe ulcerative colitis, and I was in and out of the hospital every other month trying to get fluids, because what it does, ulcerative colitis, makes you go to the bathroom anywhere from 10 to 20 times a day, if not more. So back between 2006 and 2008, if you would have seen me, I was 120 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, so that really took a toll on me mentally, but they removed my colon in October of 2007, I want to say, and then it was a 3-part surgery, and the first surgery was actually didn't go real well. It took a lot out of me because I was so dehydrated, didn't have the right amount of nutrients in me, so it took a lot out of me. And being 120 pounds, I have skin and bones. I had to have a walker. Dad had to help me out of bed, out of the car. I had zero muscle on me. But it was a 3-part surgery. And the first surgery ended up, it was horrible. I ended up being in the hospital for 41 days. My intestines didn't want to wake up. I had what they called ileus. And so for 21 out of those 41 days, I didn't get to eat anything because my intestines weren't moving.
Right.
So finally, they started waking up, and I started, a little soft diet, broth diet. Things got better, but that was probably the most, out of all the businesses I've done, and that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. So that took a lot out of me.
Right.
But I think it made me better, made me more compassionate.
Oh, absolutely.
Made me driven.
Yeah.
I see people hurting, I want to help them.
Right.
Like, there's just it.
Right.
Without that in my life, I think I'd look at things differently too. I think I'd be a different person. So I think I was 20 years old when all that started happening.
Yeah.
So.
It developed your perspective.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Made me really appreciate life.
That's powerful. Yes.
Well, we're all, the three of us, and I know many of our listeners have appetite for learning, always learning, reading, listening, and without plugging anybody else's material, one of the books I listened to, this gentleman had what could have been a fatal experience through an accident, and that slow, methodical climb out of that, which is what I hear your 41 days was the start of that slow, methodical climb. Yes, it was to bring his physical health back, but it was what it did to his mind. And we see your mind on display. It's like, no, I came back with a fire, with dragon fire to take on the world, which is just impressive. And I know our listeners picked up on that today. So thank you for sharing that vulnerable time in your life.
Yeah, not a problem. At 20 years old, I had an ostomy bag on my side for 9 months while different surgeries were happening and everything.
Right.
So,
right.
At 20 years old, you got to poop bag hanging on your side. Not really the coolest thing out there, but actually, that made my life so much better having an ileostomy bag because I was able to go out, I was able to go to church, I was able to go hang out with my friends. I wasn't stuck.
You didn't live in the bathroom.
I didn't live in the bathroom.
Right.
Exactly. So it was a blessing in disguise.
The crazy thing was you were tied to this bag, but the bag gave you freedom.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
How about that?
So,
and that was in 2006. And then in 2008, then you and your dad started what has become this fire of entrepreneurial venture.
Yeah.
So who knew, the determination that came from that would lead to this.
Who knew?
Who knew? But here we are.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So my last question for you is, we've talked about what you would say to yourself. So now, what would you tell someone else today? If you were going to bring someone in, a younger or even an older person, doesn't matter, but they want to reinvent themselves and they want to take that entrepreneurial step, that adventure. They want to move themselves into that reinvention. What advice might you give them?
Don't be afraid of failing. Just move forward, do your best, give it your all, and don't be afraid of failing because that's going to hold you back.
Right.
So you can do it if you put your mind to it. Is all it comes down to.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. The time is now.
That's perfect. That's about as good of an answer as anyone could possibly give. And that's what makes you a success. Chuck, have you anything to add?
No, just thank you for being our guest today.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate you having me.
yes, and I always appreciate our process here. And we usually have a little preliminary chat. We're just kind of get to know and kind of orient a little bit. And the thing that, and I know Robbie has invited you. He already knew the story was there. But thank you for being a part of this process to bring it out. And so, what an inspiration today.
Thank y'all for having me, and I hope someone out there gained something from what I had to say, what we had to say, and just keep moving forward.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being our guest. And again, I'm Robbie. This is
Chuck.
And this is
Brad Bennett.
And we appreciate all of you out there for making us a part of the pursuit of your purpose. Thanks again and follow our show. Y'all have a great day.